Okay. So this is recording so that we know how to complete this assignment for the collecting data penny dropping lab. All right. First things first. Most important thing I need everybody to do right now. Name. Do this right now. Name, first and last. And bell. To you, it may not be a big thing not to put the bell. To me, it makes a huge amount of difference considering I have to grade 70 papers.
Are we Bell 5?
You are bell 5. You are bell 5. So if you're absent, you're still the bell that you belong to. So again, if you're absent, still put down the bell that you belong to. So the directions for this activity say, make a bar graph to put your data into a more understandable format. This can be on graph paper or electronic. You should have 8 bars. Everybody circle that word. 8 bars. Make sure you include a key, labels, title, and it should be in color. Okay, now color. You're going to want to have 2 different colors. Now they can be a red pen and a black pen. It can be a blue highlighter, yellow highlighter, whatever you want, just as long as you have 2 colors. Okay? We'll get to the coloring part here in a minute, so you don't need it out right now. What we're going to do is set up your graph first. Okay? So flip it over. First things first, you need to draw your axis. And an axis is basically the line that goes up the side and the line that goes across. Okay? Now, if you would like to borrow a ruler or straight edge, there's some in that white drying rack that have been cleaned, so if you'd like to borrow one, go grab one now. So kids are going and getting their straight edge. I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight edge for my y-axis.
Is X up in the right circles?
Ladies and gentlemen, this does not require talking. Keep in mind, again, that this is recording. So when I drew my axes, I made sure I left a bunch of room at the bottom, and I made sure I left a bunch of room on the side. Yep, I went all the way to the top, and I went all the way across. Micah, question.
Do you want this colored in marker or pencil?
It doesn't matter. Your bars will be in color. So the question asks is, do I have to have this in color? The answer is no. The bars itself are what you're going to have in color. Okay? Okay. Couple things that I put on a graph to remind myself not to forget. Okay? First thing I always make sure is I'm going to want to have a title. So I write myself a note up here that I need to have a title. That's just my way of reminding myself, hey, don't forget to put that title. So I'll leave this blank for later. I'll figure out what my title is later. On my y-axis, which just means the one that goes up and down, eventually I have to label this, meaning I have to give it some sort of title on the y-axis. So I write down the word label so that I remember, hey, I have to label that. Okay. Then across the x-axis, I also will have to put a label here. So again, I wrote myself a little note saying, don't forget to put a label there. Now here's the tricky part. The tricky part is numbering my y-axis. A lot of kids have no idea how to number it. Some people are like, oh, I want to do it by 1s, or I want to go by 2s, I want to go by 3s. Well, first thing you always have to remember is you have to figure out how many lines you have available. So you might have to count. So in this case, I'll go ahead and count. This is always going to be 0, by the way. So put that right there, right now. That is always going to be 0. That first line is 0. And notice how I put it where the line is, not in between. So I'm going to count how many lines I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So I have approximately 30 lines here. Okay? Who got all your numbers less than 30? Are all your numbers less than 30 in your table? Take a look at your table, guys. Ah. Okay? Are all your numbers less than 30? Anybody have all their numbers less than 30? Okay. So it looks like everybody has a number that's more than 30. So here's the thing. Unfortunately, you can't go by ones. But let's say you have your highest number is, let's say your highest number is 57. Then instead, you're going to go by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. Who's got numbers that are higher than, let's say, 60?
Wait.
Nope. Anybody got numbers higher than 60?
Just average.
Just average. Not your average, just your individual. So I think everybody in this room then is going to go by twos. So we literally are going to number these. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Everybody. I don't mean to repeat me, but I mean, go ahead and number this right now. If your number was higher than 60, then maybe you would have to go by threes or maybe by fours or even by fives. We try not to go by fives because it makes your graph really small. But I think everybody in this room can go by twos. If your number was less than 30, you could go by ones. I always suggest doing graphs in pencil. That way, if you screw up, you can always erase. I've done this so many times that I usually can do it in pen. Plus, it's a lot easier for you guys to see. Caleb, question?
If it's just like 30, like automatically just 30.
Is that your highest number is 30?
Yeah.
Then you can go by ones.
Okay.
Girls.
Do you know on bottom two?
Oh, it's a good question. So you're probably ready for what we're going to do across the bottom. Are we putting numbers across the bottom?
No.
No, we are not. Okay? We need to graph the difference between using water versus the mystery substance. Okay? How many trials did we do?
8 total.
No, we didn't.
We
We only did 4 for each. We did 4 trials for each. So which means we're going to have a trial 1. And we're going to have a trial 2. And I'm going to space them out evenly between each other. A trial 3 and a trial 4. So when I go and color in my box, let's say for instance I'm going to use 2 different colors. Let's say I'm going to use orange and black. Okay? I'm going to designate my orange to represent the water. And my black to represent mystery substance. That is my key. That way when somebody goes and looks at my table or my graph, I know what each of the bars are going to represent. So now let's say, for instance, for trial 1, I got, let's say, 16 drops of water for trial 1. So then I'm going to color all the way up to the 16 with water. Color that in. And then maybe for mystery substance, I only got 8. And color that in. There you go. Now then, all I have to do is my other 3 trials. So your job is to make sure that you have your key, color your bars in, label your 2 axes, put your title in, and then on the front side you have 4 questions that I need you to answer. Do your answers have to be in complete sentences? Anybody know the answer to that?
No.
No. The answer is no, they do not need to be in complete sentences. Okay? Use your notebook to help you with this. If you have any questions, raise your hand and I will help you, or if you're at home, you're going to message me. Okay?